How many of you guys have dabbled in video? All right, not too many hands in here. What we're going to be talking about is video optimization. That being said, let's start off with something you guys all recognize, which is...
That was me.
Excellent. Which is what is on screen right now. Coffee. How many of you guys had coffee this morning? Raise your hand. A lot more than those of you that had video. The funny thing is that over 50% of Americans drink coffee every morning. Because of that, don't you think it would behoove a restaurant to put coffee on their menu? Yes? All right. Well, on the same note, what most of you probably don't realize is that over 50% of all internet traffic is video. So, would it behoove real estate agents to put video on their websites? Yes. In addition to that, we have a few other stats here for you. YouTube is now the second-ranked search engine in the world. It eclipses Yahoo, it eclipses Bing, it eclipses MSNBC, any other search engine out there. It's right after Google. That happened this past year. Next, Facebook video viewership has gone up over 2,000% in just the last year alone. It is now one of the top video sites and search portals out there. Also, and this is something I'm going to be striking hard on today, is going to be videos up to 53 times more likely to rank you on the first page of Google than any other kind of content out there, including text and pictures. And last year, video search queries surpassed standard text search queries for the first time ever, which is a new phenomenon as well. And video viewership, oddly enough, go figure, it's increased 120%. It's going to continue to increase at about 100% every year for the next 3 to 4 years, as projected. So the new wave of where everything is going is video-based. Now, you may ask yourself the question, what does video do for me? Well, video is going to do many things. One, it's going to drive traffic to your site. Two, it's going to keep people on your site longer. Actually, up to 6 times longer. Longer time on site equals more opportunity for the person to become a lead. Also, that results in them buying a home. That being said, those of you that have heard of video or dabbled in video yourselves, most of you have probably focused in on what most people understand a video in the real estate industry to be, which is a video tour of a home, a video profile of yourself, maybe a testimonial video from clients that are talking on your behalf, which is also a very powerful tool. So those are all videos that are going to be resting on your website, maybe on your social media pages, but pretty much they're going to be places for you to market yourself. Now, the misconception here is that if you have, let's say, some money to invest in a video or some time of your own to invest in a video, everybody's putting money and time into video for themselves, but nobody's putting time and money into video to drive people to your website to begin with. So the biggest thing that I'm going to be striking on here is that before you go and put videos up about yourself, about your listings, although there's a definite place for those, you need to get people to you. Now, since video is up to 53 times more likely to rank you on the first page of Google over any other kind of content out there, it is the most potent form of marketing you can possibly do when it comes to Googling. That being said, it's not about what you think. It's about what your clients Google. What do they search for? Do they search for Jane Doe, real estate agent? I'm sorry to burst your ego, but no, they don't. What they search for is things that interest them. Things that interest them will end up driving them to you in a way that you can't market with anything that's going to be self-promotional. It's all about differentiation. Right now, it's going to be hard to compete with the Zillows, the Realtor.coms, these listing aggregation sites that are somewhat of a commodity. So how do you separate yourself? You separate yourself locally by driving people to your website with content that's going to make you the local expert in all things real estate. That's the one thing that people are missing, concierge-level service. Since everybody else out there can aggregate listings, and I mean, Realtor.com, they're a client. Zillow, they're a client of ours. So by no means am I putting them down. They're great at what they do. In order for you to differentiate, be there constantly dropping content to your clients, reminding them of what your expertise is, which is all things real estate. So when they're ready to buy a home, they come to you. So this is one of the stats that just blows me away. Since video is going to rank on the first page of Google much more likely than anything else, the types of videos that you make need to be very targeted. Don't just go out and make a video to make a video. Don't make a video about yourself. Don't make a video about your home without knowing why you're making that video. For example, wordtracker.com. One of the things I suggest to do is go find what people are Googling in Orlando. Are they Googling Windermere real estate? Are they Googling Winter Park? You might be from Jacksonville. Find out what they're Googling in your local IP area. Navigational, transactional. Navigational is going to be something like Windermere versus Isleworth, or Windermere versus Lake Nona. Transactional is going to be house for sale, okay? In all honesty, that's how many people Google those terms in response to the video query results. Informational videos, how-to videos, things about market update reports, things that are going to be research in nature and not so much I want to buy something, are much more Googled and rank much higher with video search results than any other kind of search out there. So focus on what people are Googling to get people to your site and drive traffic, ultimately selling homes. Great example of who does this extremely well is Lowe's. Have you guys ever heard of Lowe's Home 101? All right. So what they do is if you haven't heard about it, is they do a ton of videos. Every single thing that they have is video-based. They create content that's how to install a fence post, how to install a toilet, how to paint, because they know that the consumers are Googling these things. Ultimately, what's Lowe's objective? To sell. By the way, we sell paint, we sell brooms, we sell shovels to do the things that we're making these videos about. But they know that the people might not necessarily say, I want to buy a shovel. They might say, how to shovel without hitting, let's say, a wire in an electrical circuit in my backyard. Lowe's makes a video about that. Here you go, here's a shovel. And here's some techniques to drive further education, create themselves as a source for information, and ultimately, even if I'm not buying a shovel at that point, I'll end up coming back to them anyway. Oddly enough, look at how they rank. How to install a door. Very common term to Google. Look at this. 2 videos. Ranked second and third. Why? Because again, video is more apt to rank than any other kind of content. Not only that, but video thumbnails on your universal search results pages are 41% more likely to get clicked on than the text link above it. So that's something else to consider. Not only is it going to rank you higher, but it's also more likely to get clicked on because people want to watch video. Actually, the ratio is 6-to-1, and Google knows that. So Google, because there's not nearly as much video content out there as there is text or photo-based content, they're trying to give a nice spread, the universal search results page. And that spread is trying to give the consumer a little bit of everything. And since there's not nearly as much video, if you're properly implementing tagging and optimizing your content, and that's something that you can either learn how to do yourself or companies like mine do for you, what you're going to be doing is your competition, since there's not nearly as much video with this kind of tagging, is higher ranked. So, give them what they want. One of the most common videos that we have to create are town tours. People want to know where they're going to live, and that's what they Google. Again, Windermere, restaurants, Windermere, things to do, Windermere, tourist activities, whatever it might be, they Google that before they Google where they're going to live or what they're going to live in. So before they know what home they're going to live in, which you might do a video tour on or a virtual tour, they want to know where they're going to live. So focus in, if you have a budget and time and you do it yourself, about the local community. And then make, let's say, an advertising campaign around that local community once they have gotten to you. Again, getting them to you is the trick. Once they're there, sell them. That's what you do for a living. Next, how-tos. Going back to what I said earlier, what kind of topics might you want to cover? How to pick the right agent. Again, anything how to design, location, location, location. How to stage a home. Beautiful staging area up here. These are things that people, again, Google when they're looking to buy or sell a home. That ultimately drives them to you if you're the one making videos about these topics. They become a lead. You sell them. Now here's an example of like Long Foster, biggest independent company in the country. We do all their video work. This might be a good example, might not. I'll let some of these videos run through. Go ahead. You'll get an idea. Click. I can serenade you all if you'd like. Kidding. So I'll let this run through. I put a montage together. We make these videos based on what people are Googling and then drive traffic to our clients' sites. Think of it as HGTV, privately branded to you.
For most of us, purchasing a home is the biggest investment we'll ever make. That's why it's important to discover everything about a home's condition before you buy. A pre-sale inspection can save money on repairs down the road. But how do you know if a home is
And you can also do these videos on your own. I'll give you some tips on that here in a minute.
compare and ask questions? Home offices are becoming a sign of the times for people who work from home or want a space dedicated for personal business and other projects. Depending on the size of the room, you can still include a sofa sleeper for that occasional guest.
All right, go ahead and stop it. So we don't go in blindly and just say, you know what, I want to make a video on home offices. What we do is and you can as well for yourself, go in and we say, what do people want to know about? Let's make videos on those. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time. Why would I make a video on something that's 10th on the what people Google most list? By the way, I have no reference of time up here. I can't see a thing, so I'm not sure. How are we doing, Matt? 16 minutes left, or? Okay. Excellent. So let's go to the next one. Now let's say you make this content. How do you get it out there? Well, there are two different kinds of campaigns. One is going to be push and one is going to be pull. All right? So on the push side, you're going to be sending things out. Let's say a newsletter. All right? You make the video, you hyperlink it into a newsletter, you send it out to your database. How many of you guys collect a database, whether it's through email? Definitely, guys. If you don't collect a database, that's a treasure trove of home sales right there waiting to happen. Collect the database. Email addresses. Don't give away information for free. Make them enter their email address. Make them like you on a Facebook fan page. So every time you have something to tell them, you can blast it out to them. Now, these videos in your newsletter can link back to your website. So every time somebody clicks on a thumbnail, which again is 41% more likely to get clicked on than anything else in a conventional newsletter, they come back to your site. So you make the long tail. janedoe.com/how to stage a home. All right, that's what Google's going to pick up on as well. Next, you can put it on your website like what I just showed you with a massive player. You can create your own. You can do one on YouTube. A company like ours can do it. You've also got Facebook fan pages. Facebook fan pages are very effective as far as people are constantly interacting with you. And there are other people here talking about Facebook, so I won't really talk about it much. But as you constantly put up videos, a great example is what we do, vScreen. On vscreen.com, we post a blog every week. And that information is free information about how to do best practices in video. And by people clicking on that, they realize very quickly, well, I might not be able to do this myself. I don't have enough time. Guess what? They end up giving us a call, and we do the video for them. Because we give them information to get business. Same kind of concept. Give them information. Post it once a week on your Facebook fan page. People will remember they're not in the market to buy a home every single day, all right, or a year, maybe every 3 years. So stop sending them listings every day when they're not in the market because they're going to get annoyed, they're going to unfriend you, or they're going to unsubscribe. Instead, give them something of value. They're always going to want to know how to decorate. They're always going to want to know how to live better. Put that on your Facebook wall. They won't delete you. They'll interact. They'll forward it to a friend. And when they're ready to buy, guess who they're going to call? YouTube, very effective way to do it as well. I'll talk about that in a minute. Or I'll talk about it right now. All right, so YouTube. YouTube is the most effective way, period, to get your videos out there. There are other sites like Google, Metacafe, Dailymotion. TubeMogul's a great service. It blasts it out there. Are you guys familiar with like Point2 or ListHub? All right, it's the same thing. You upload one video, blast it out to many different portals. But YouTube dominates, 84%. If you're going to put your time into anything, make it YouTube. Also, as far as YouTube's concerned, as you probably already know, Google owns YouTube. They tend to give them a little bit more preferential treatment. Click, click. Excellent. So, there are 3 ways to do this. Normally I do this slide when I'm not in Orlando, but again, we happen to be here. Hint. You can do it yourself. You might not have time, you might not have money to go buy the equipment. You also might not have the expertise. Freelancer, go to Craigslist. Try doing it that way. Full Sail. I mean, we got kids all over this city that are willing and hungry to do some work, to do home tours, whatever it might be. Problem is, you start hiring in on them, unless you find a really good one. And if you do find references, at least 3, make sure that there's a contract in place, because what's going to happen is they'll start, they'll walk away, they'll get busy, they'll go on vacation, they're kids, and then you have a video project that's half done. Do half up front, half in the rears. Never pay the full thing up front. Or you can hire a professional company. All right, so let's say you want to do this on your own. What are some of the things you can do to instill or ensure that you have the best video possible? 1, use a tripod. We don't want the Blair Witch Project here, all right? So definitely don't carry around the camera and just shake it everywhere. Always use a tripod. You could also use a monopod. I'll talk about that in a second. Tripod, stabilizing shot, that's great. Panning and tilting. Pan and tilt slowly. Don't make it jerky. Try to make one smooth motion. Fluid head tripods are the best because they take away a lot of the jerk. Zooming, get creative with it. Don't zoom too much. It's better if you have more of an establishing shot to begin with and you have to zoom in, zoom out all the time. Try to use that as little as possible, but there's a place for it for sure. Focusing, always be in focus. Autofocus is good. If you want to get creative, you can do rack focusing, which is putting something in the forefront, more focus, something in the back, a little bit more fuzzy. Lots of ways to do it. Audio, get external audio. That's not the internal mic. That's the sure sign that somebody doesn't know what they're doing. Get a little mic, go to Radio Shack. You can plug it in the side of the camera, make sure it has an external mic jack. This is a lapel right here. This is exactly what it looks like. The audio is crisp, it's clear, it doesn't sound like you're in a hollow room. Lighting, make sure you're white balancing so the picture is not totally blue. It depends on what kind of camera you have. If you have a smaller, more basic camera, you don't even have to worry about it. Iris and gain, that controls how much light goes in. Rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is also very important. Believe it or not, people's eyes gravitate to one side of the screen or the other. More than half the time, they're going to go towards, I wish I had an example up here to show you. Do you guys understand what the rule of thirds is? Okay, so you're not in the center, you're not completely on the right, you're not completely on the left, or vice versa for you guys since you're looking at me. You're about right here, all right? So your image is going to gravitate. Go watch an NBC interview. When people are doing an interview and they're looking off camera, they're usually shifted to one side. That's for a reason, because they know scientifically that people are going to gravitate towards one side of the screen. Otherwise, they'll click off the video. And don't click on this yet. Before I go on to anything else, keep it short. I forgot about that. Keep it short. Statistically, I can tell you that if your video is over 2 minutes, people will click off of it earlier than if it's under 2 minutes. Because I'm sorry, but my demographic, the #1 home buying demographic in the country, doesn't have the attention span of worth anything. I mean, we are ADD-centric. So if you're going to make something, and I know that I have to sit there for more than 2 minutes, I don't have that time to waste. I'm going to click off of it. If it's under 2 minutes, I'm like, I've got 90 seconds. I'll watch it further into the video. So we try to make them as short as possible. Here is an example of something you don't want to do.
We have some people that come to every conference, but we will.
Honey, I'm home. This is the dream vlog. See if I can get the kitchen ready to see if it'll look.
No tripod, external audio, Blair Witch. It's like the Flintstones. So she went in with absolutely zero plan. Before you go into a house, know what you want to do. Get in, get out, less than 2 minutes, especially if you're going to do it in one take and not splice it together in post-production. How many people think that I'm still watching this video if I'm on YouTube and looking at it? Other than for comic relief, of course. All right, so that's pretty much the end of that video. You guys get the idea. She pretty much broke every single rule there is to break in that video. Next, let's go to the next video, and this will show you a practice of, now this is a very high-end video. It's kind of the extreme on one end versus the extreme on the other. There's a lot of room in between that you can do, but you'll see a lot of different things done correctly here. You definitely want to brand your video if you're going to put it onto YouTube so people know where to find you. Sell the community before you sell the home, always. You want to focus on features as well and benefits, as well as, like I said, in the community, focus on the school systems, focus on what people want to do in the local area, integrate it into the tour itself. But you'll notice that very little time, respectively, is spent like showing pans of every room. We're showing detail. We're showing what's going to emotionally connect you to the home. All right, go ahead and click on the next. So that gives you an example of a good way of doing a home tour. And that client, interestingly enough, they did what I was talking about before. They hired us to come in and make a video of the Ford plantation and use that as a centerpiece of their marketing campaign, very wisely, I must say, and then made about 10 video tours around it to spin off of the traffic that they were getting from people Googling the local plantation. So let's say you do these things on yourself. What kind of equipment do you have? One, point and shoot. Most common way to do it. You've got the Flip camera, but Flip is going out of business. Cisco is shutting them down after investing almost $400 million in the company. They just announced that a couple months ago. So what point and shoot camera do I recommend? The Kodak PlayTouch. Great camera, has an external mic, under $200. You can navigate, post straight to Facebook from your interface. It's got a screen just like the iPhone does. Next, you've got the consumer video, which is going to be like your normal handy cam. Also has lots of benefits. It's a little bit more higher quality. You're going to get a better picture. Might be overkill unless you're going to be doing a lot of videos and doing home tours and lower lighting. Then you've got the prosumer camera. I think that's what we're using here when we're running around filming. Those kinds of cameras are going to run you about $2,000 to $3,000 at the base level, but they're also good if you want to do a lot of vlogging, a lot of stuff around the community, interview people, and you never know what's going to happen with HD going into the future, and it's going to ensure that your quality is going to be high for the next few years as cameras continue to develop. So what we've got next is we've also got tripods. Monopods, they're really cheap. You can get them at hobby stores. You might even be able to get them at Walmart or Best Buy. We're talking about 40 bucks. You've got consumer grade level tripods. Again, those are not going to be fluid head. They're going to be somewhat jerky when you're panning and tilting. And then you've got professional. This is a little bit more of a beefed up professional one, but you can get fluid head tripods that are not nearly as complex as that one for probably around, I would say, $300 to $400. Otherwise, your tripod's going to cost anywhere up to $100 if you get something at Best Buy that's basic. But fluid head, if you're going to invest in a tripod, I definitely recommend a fluid head. Next, lighting. Don't sit in front of a window and shoot yourself straight on because the light behind you is going to flood you out. You're going to be nothing but a silhouette. Put light on the front of you. You can either do that through any kind of overhead lighting, but you might have like weird shadows on your face, or you can go invest in a simple umbrella light. I know locally, Will, what's the hobby store over in Colonial? Colonial Photo and Hobby. We've picked up some stuff from there as far as local umbrellas on the fly. So I know that you can pick them up at Colonial Photo and Hobby. I highly recommend that store, and they're not too expensive. Fluorescent banks might be a little bit overkill for you guys. Softbox gives you a nice glow and diffuses the light when it hits you so you don't have harsh shadows. Wired mic, you can do a handheld. It's easy, it's versatile, you don't have to worry about it. You can pass it between people while you're doing an interview or asking for testimonials. When you're going around and doing these videos and you're doing it with a strategy to hyper-localize it, go interview local restaurateurs. Go interview local places of business that, again, people are going to be interested in Googling. Tag those in your video, put them onto YouTube. And when I Google Orlando restaurants, you interview the local guy down at, let's say, Applebee's or whatever the local restaurant might be, and when I Google these things, you're going to pop up, and then I'm going to see that you're the guy interviewing or the woman interviewing. You're going to be the local source of information, and when I'm ready to buy, I come to you. Wireless lavs, it's what I'm using right now. You can get those either wired or wireless, ranging from $50 to $200 to $300. Shotgun mic, a little bit more complex to use. You either tie it to the camera or you hold it and point at somebody's face. That's what they use in professional productions, so you never have to carry around with a mic on you. Next, we have some more complex things. You've got a jib, you've got mixing boards, steady cams. Those are common. Like the nice video I showed you, we use steady cams so you can walk through an area. Those run up to about $1,000. Again, I've got 2 minutes left. Thank you very much. You can walk through. It gives you a nice, smooth feel. You can do rails, teleprompters. You can buy portable teleprompters if you like to read into the camera and be prompted without looking off camera to a piece of paper. Lots of different things you can do. Now, like I said, we're located at Universal Studios. We service all the major brands in the country. We are doing a survey, and I know we're doing a free giveaway today out by our booth because we're trying to do research on who's using video, what they use it for, how long are the videos they're using. Please come by if you'd like something for free from us, which I think is a month free off of our V screen or V channel, which is the branded content I showed you. And fill out that survey for us. It'll take 3 to 4 minutes so we can better understand what you guys want and serve you guys as well. My name is Schweickart. I really appreciate your time, guys. My contact info, everything, you can find me, Facebook me, LinkedIn, any way possible. Feel free to contact me. I appreciate your time. Thank you.